Hi friends, in this video tutorial I am going to demonstrate how we can create our first microservice using Spring Boot. So for this, first we need to create our Spring Boot starter project. Okay, so for this I am using this start.spring.io website, and this is the interface of this website. So here first we need to choose project as a Maven project and language Java, and Spring Boot version. Here I am selecting this one, and project metadata. Okay, so here I am taking com.example.first app. Okay, so basically this is the package name, this is the base package name, and artifact, okay, and packaging is jar, and Java version is 17. And here on this dependencies side we need to choose some dependency. Okay, so first I am choosing this web dependency, Spring Web. Okay, and then in this application I will also demonstrate the DB connections and DB operations also. So for database operation we need to choose JPA dependency. Okay, Spring Data JPA. And third one, here I am taking this MySQL DB. So for connecting with the MySQL we need to choose MySQL dependency also. Okay, MySQL driver. And so these are the three basic dependencies, and one more, I am choosing this Spring Boot DevTool dependency also. Okay, all fine, and packaging is jar. So now I am clicking on this generate button. Okay, so this is the zip file generated, and copy it from here, copy, and so this is my workspace, okay, of this is Eclipse IDE. So copy this zip file here and unzip it, extract here. Okay, so this is our first app application, and open this Eclipse IDE, and here we need to import that project here. So go to the import and existing Maven project, next, and here my workspace, first app, select and finish. So this first app project is importing. Okay, open this. Yes, so at the beginning we have this pom.xml file. Okay, these are the dependency which we have selected, and inside the source we have this application.properties file. Okay, so inside this pom.xml this is the MySQL dependency, but this dependency will not work in my case because I am using this MySQL database. This is very old version of the MySQL. So basically it is 5.1 version. So for this I need this MySQL. I need to remove this MySQL dependency, because this dependency will work only on the latest version of the MySQL. Okay, and I'm going to copy this dependency. This one, MySQL Java, and I'm using the connector 5.1.6 version. Okay, this is the old version. And here this is the application.properties file. So to connect our Spring Boot app with this database, we need to configure some properties inside this .properties file. Okay, so what are those properties? Let's copy from here and paste it. Okay, so these are the properties, like data source URL, this is the URL, and username and password, and driver class name. Okay, com.mysql.jdbc.driver. Okay, so these are the configuration which we need to perform. Okay, then we can close this, and so this is the base package. Inside this base package, this is the main class. Okay, so we need to create some more packages. Okay, some more. First step first create the controller package, and second package is service package, or we can call service layer also. And third package is entity. Entity is required to perform the DB operations. And after this entity, we require one more package. That one is for doing our repository operation. Okay, .repo. So these are the 4 packages which we have created. Okay, this one. Let's refresh our project. Now it align. So first, this is the controller class and service and entity and repo. So first create the controller class inside this controller package. Okay, this is first step, controller. Okay, so this is the REST controller, so annotate it with REST controller at REST controller. Okay, so this is our controller, and then create one service class inside this service package. First step, service. And annotate this with at service annotation. Okay, and then we need to create entity and repository also. Okay, so this is the entity, and this is the MySQL table, and here the database I am choosing is test DB, and inside the test DB we have this student table. Okay, and this is the student table, student ID, last name, first name, address, and city. These are the 5 columns. Then we need to map these column name with the entity class. Okay, so here create the entity class. Inside this entity package, create new class, and the entity name is student. Okay, I am taking the name is student because our table name is also student. Okay, and this is the entity class, so annotate it with at entity. Okay, and then inside this entity we need to create few variables. Okay, and the variable name should match with this column name. Okay, these are the columns. Student ID, the type of the column is int. So quickly create here one variable, public int student ID. Okay, then second public, and the second column is last name, and the type of the last name is varchar. It means in Java the type is string. Okay, public string this last name. Copy this and paste 3 more time. Okay, and then third variable column is first name, then address, and then city. Okay, so these are the variables which we have created inside our entity class. Then create getter and setters. Okay, getter and setter is also defined. So first this student ID is the ID of the table. Okay, so annotate it with at ID notice. Okay, that's fine. So entity class is created, and then we need to create one repository. Okay, so for creating a repository we need to first create one interface, and the interface is first tab or student repo, we can say student repo. Okay, and it is an interface, so we need to extend one more interface here. That interface is JPA repository. Okay, here extend JPA repository. This one. Okay, here replace this T with the student. Okay, this is the entity name and ID. The type of the ID means the student ID is int type. So here pass integer and import this student class, student entity here. So this is the repository which we have created, and okay, so entity and repository work is done. So now let's create one service here. Okay, what is the purpose of this service? This service will take one student ID and then fetch the data from the student table and then return it to the controller layer. Okay, so here we need to create one service method. So let's assume our service method name is find student by ID. Okay, public, and the return type of this service is student entity. Okay, student entity, student, and get student by ID, or we can say find student by ID. By ID. Okay, and this method will take the student ID. Okay, and so pass one parameter here. Student ID. Okay, and for performing the DB operation here we need this repository interface. Okay, so here create the object of this repo class or repo interface. So for creating object, here we need to use @AutoWire. Okay, so this predefined student repo class, like this is the student repo class, and we extend this JPA repository. So JPA repository have few predefined method, so which we can use here. Okay, so by using this student repo dot find by ID method we want to use here. Okay, and it takes one parameter, so pass this student ID here. Okay, and what is the return type of this find by ID method? The return type of this method is optional student. Okay, optional student. Use this util and define the variable here optional. Okay, the variable name is optional, and from this optional dot get. Okay, it will return the student data. So here we are done with our service layer also. Okay, now this is the controller class. So inside this controller class, first create the object of this service class. Okay, because we need to call that method which we have created. Use annotation @AutoWire annotation. Okay, fine, and here create one method, or we can say controller method. Okay, okay, so suppose let's take the name of our controller method is get data. Okay, public get data. Okay, and here I'm going to use get mapping. Okay, and define the URL here. URL is get data. Okay, and the return type of this get data is response entity. Response entity, and the type of the response entity is student. Okay, and add return statement. So here we have already created one method inside that our service class. So call that method here by using this object dot find student by ID. Okay, this method I'm talking about. Okay, and okay, so it will take one parameter. Okay, that one is student ID. Okay, so here we need to get that parameter. So use add request mapping. Add request mapping, and type is int, and let's the name of the variable is student ID. Okay, one minute, we need to take this add request param. Okay, not request mapping. Okay, then pass this student ID here, and this method with the return type of this method is student type. Okay, so here this one, and what is the return type of this controller method? The return type of this controller method is response entity. Okay, so here create one response entity object. The type of this entity is student, and pass some parameter. Okay, first parameter is our student, and second parameter is the HTTPS status. HTTP status. So what is the status? Dot OK. So this is the status. Okay, so here our controller and service entity and repo. So these are the 4 classes which we have created. So let's test this application. Okay, so this is the main class. So click on this main class and run as Java application. Let's check here. Our application is running. Yes, it's started at port 8080. Okay, so open this Postman, and the type of our method is, let's check in controller. Here I am taking get mapping / get data. Okay, type here this URL we need to type. Okay, HTTP localhost 8080 / get data. This is the question mark because this is the request param. The name of this is student ID should be match with this student ID. Okay, then only it will map. And ID I am passing 102 in this table. The student ID is 102. Okay, so let's click on this send button, Yes. So here we can see the student record is displaying in this response. Okay, so this is the very basic Spring Boot application. In this application we learned how we can connect database with our Spring Boot and how we can create the different packages and in the Spring Boot, and this and how we can perform a very basic operations. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching my video.